three of the most polarizing, influential, and unmissable forces in modern music. Nicki Minaj, the lyrical queen who built an empire. Cardi B, the internet-born sensation who took over the charts. And Miley Cyrus, the pop provocateur, who redefined her image on a global stage. Individually, they are titans, but when their paths crossed, the world stopped and watched. This is the untold story of a multi-front war that wasn't just about music hit, was about authenticity, power, and the feuds that shaped an entire generation. Get ready to dive deep into the ultimate celebrity showdown. The narrative of Nicki Minaj is one of a singular, undeniable force in a male-dominated industry. For years, she was the undisputed queen of hip-hop, a powerful, multifaceted artist who could deliver intricate lyrical flows and craft infectious pop anthems with equal skill. Her reign wasn't just a matter of chart success, it was an ideological victory. She had broken down doors, proving that a woman could be both a lyrical powerhouse and a global superstar. Position, however, came with the burden of an entire genre on her shoulders. She was not just an artist. She was a symbol. Context is crucial to understanding her feuds, which were never just about personal animosity, they were about protecting her throne and her legacy. The Anaconda video was a cultural touchstone, a celebration of Black women's bodies that was both critically acclaimed and commercially successful. So when it was overlooked for a VMA award, Nicki didn't just see it as a personal slight. She saw it as a systemic issue. She took to Twitter not as an angry celebrity, but as an activist, calling out a double standard she felt was prevalent in the industry. Her confrontation with Miley Cyrus was a direct result of this. When Miley dismissed her anger as a trivial matter, Nicki felt a profound sense of betrayal. It was an established pop star who had freely borrowed from Black culture for her own. Game telling a Black woman that her feelings of injustice were invalid? The Miley, what's good? Moment wasn't just a feud. It was a public demand for respect and accountability that resonated far beyond the VMA stage. Her rivalry with Cardi B was a far more complex and emotionally charged affair. A genuine battle for the throne of female rap. For years, Nicki had occupied that throne alone. The music industry, with its hunger for drama and easy narratives, immediately began to pit the two against each other. What started as public displays of mutual respect and even a collaboration on motorsport quickly devolved into a cold war of passive-aggressive social media posts and cryptic lyrical jabs. The tension was fueled by fan bases, the Barbs and the Barty gang, who acted as proxies in the online war. This was a battle for succession, with Nicki as the reigning monarch and Cardi B as the rising challenger. The boiling point was the Harper's Bizarre Icons party, an incident that became a defining moment of the feud. For Nicki, the shoe throwing was a chaotic and unprovoked attack that she addressed with a mixture of disbelief and contempt on her Queen radio show. She portrayed herself as a victim, a figure of grace attacked by an out-of-control newcomer. Her stance was clear. This was not a war of equals, but an assault on her reign. She leveraged her media platforms to control the narrative, framing the incident not as a moment of physical violence, but as a crucial moment in the history of hip-hop where a new artist disrespected a legendary one. For Nicki, these feuds were never just about the fight itself. They were about defending her position, her legacy, and the very ground she had fought so hard to conquer for an entire generation of female rappers. Cardi B's rise to stardom was a seismic event in the music industry. She was not a product of the traditional system. She was a creation of the digital age. From reality TV to viral social media moments, she built a massive, devoted following. Through her unfiltered honesty, hilarious personality, and infectious catchphrases, When she broke into the music scene with Bodak Yellow, a track that captured the raw energy and unapologetic hustle of her persona, she became a global superstar overnight. Her success was a direct challenge to the established order, and in the world of female rap, that order was ruled by Nicki Minaj. The industry and the fans immediately framed their relationship as a rivalry, a new queen challenging the old. Initially, CardiB tried to navigate this with respect and admiration, publicly stating her love for Nicki and even collaborating with her. She understood the weight of Nicki's legacy and often spoke about her influence. But as the rivalry grew, fueled by fan speculation and behind-the-scenes rumors, the tension became undeniable. The motorsport verse and the subsequent fallout were a key turning point. Fans and critics dissected every word, with the narrative quickly turning to a supposed snub from Cardi and a lyrical jab from Nicki. This created an environment of distrust and passive aggression that eventually reached a violent crescendo. The Harper's Bazaar Icons party was the moment Cardi B's simmering frustration erupted into a full-blown physical altercation. Her version of events was not about a long-standing rivalry, but about a mother defending her child. She alleged that Nicki had made comments about her parenting, a line she considered unforgivable. For Cardi, this was not a strategic move. It was a primal emotional response. She didn't respond with a diss track. She responded with a throne shoe, an act of raw, unfiltered fury that was as chaotic as it was cinematic. Her public clapback, a lengthy Instagram post that detailed her reasons for the outburst, was a masterclass in modern celebrity communication. She was not a calculated media figure. She was a woman from the Bronx who would not tolerate disrespect. Her response highlighted her core appeal. She was authentic, she was real, and she would not back down. The feud with Miley Cyrus was a quieter but no less telling affair. A moment of digital sniping that demonstrated the shift in power dynamics. When Miley seemingly mocked Cardi's obscure catchphrase, Cardi handled it with a direct but calm clapback. Her response was not about a physical fight, but about standing up for her brand and her originality in a world where pop stars had long appropriated Black culture for their own gain. The feuds for Cardi B were about more than just lyrical supremacy. They were about carving out her own space, maintaining her authenticity, and proving that the new queen had a voice that could not be silenced. Miley Cyrus's career is a fascinating study in reinvention, provocation, and the delicate dance of cultural appropriation. She burst onto the scene as a wholesome pop star, but her artistry took a dramatic turn as she shed her Disney image and embraced a more rebellious, hip-hop-influenced aesthetic. This transformation, while commercially successful, was not without controversy. She adopted elements of Black culture, from her musical style to her dance moves and vernacular, which led to widespread accusations of appropriation. This is the crucial context for her feud with Nicki Minaj, when Nicki spoke out about her Anaconda video and the double standard she faced as a Black female artist. Miley was asked for her thoughts. Her response was not one of solidarity, but of dismissal, chalking Nicki's anger up to a trivial outburst. For many, this was a moment of profound hypocrisy. A pop star who had built her new identity on the back of Black culture was now invalidating a Black woman's righteous anger about that very culture. Miley, who was hosting the VMAs that year, was not expecting Nicki to address her directly on a global stage. "Hey Miley, what's good?" Moment was a public reckoning, a moment where a powerful artist was forced to confront her privilege and her casual dismissal of a peer's lived experience. The raw, unfiltered nature of the confrontation left Miley flustered and exposed. A rare moment of unscripted vulnerability for a star so used to controlling her public image. The later feud with Cardi B was a more subtle but equally revealing affair. Years after the VMA incident, Miley found herself in hot water again after a video surfaced online of her repeating Cardi's signature "occur" catchphrase in a way that many found condescending. This incident was a perfect example of how feuds have evolved in the digital age. It didn't require a red carpet, a diss track, or a physical altercation. A single viral clip was enough to ignite a firestorm of online criticism. To her fans and many observers, it felt like an uncomfortable return to her old patterns. A moment where she was again seen as appropriating elements of Black culture without fully understanding or respecting their origin. CardiB's clapback, while not as dramatic as the VMA showdown, was effective in its own right. A direct message that served to defend her intellectual property and her brand in the face of what she saw as disrespect. Miley's feuds with Nicki and CardiB were not just about personal animosity. They were about her own complex relationship with hip-hop culture, the boundaries of appropriation, and the challenges of a pop star navigating a world where authenticity and respect are no longer optional. The feuds between Miley, CardiB, and Nicki Minaj are not just footnotes in celebrity history. They are a trilogy of modern stardom. Each feud a different chapter in how women navigate power, fame, and authenticity in a cutthroat industry. They showed us that in an era of manufactured celebrity, the most viral, most talked about moments are often the most real. They didn't just fight, they fought for a place at the top, and in doing so, they paved the way for a new generation of artists who understand that in the digital age, Big Beef isn't a downfall, it's a launchpad.